Okay, who is going to volunteer first? Okay, ask a question to your classmates on things that they have learned so far.
In this chapter?
In this chapter.
Just name something about mammals.
Um,
Like name a characteristic. Most of what?
do all of the rest of them answer the same question?
No. No.
Most of what you said?
So I didn't hear the answer. Your question was, what do mammals have in common? All mammals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said hair. Most have like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So most have hair or all have hair?
I'm gonna say most. Well, no, all have hair.
All have hair of some sort. That's correct. Okay, now you ask a question.
What what is a characteristic of a mammal? Another one.
Yes, they have a four-chambered heart. That is very, very true and or correct. Next, ask a question.
Jose, what's a functional adaptation?
If you don't know, you can probably look. So what is a functional adaptation of a mammal and or mammals was the question. What about foxes? What might be a functional adaptation that they've gone through? Because half the year it, their coat might be this color, then the other half of the year it might change. Why is that? So why would they appear white if they're further up north where it snows? Snow is white. The foxes have a white body. Why might that be an adaptation?
Camouflage.
Yeah, camouflage. They'll blend into their surroundings. That's right. Okay, then think of a question. You can't think of a good question? Okay. I think one of the first things that we had talked about, let me take a peek.
And the types of hairs. Under hair. Guard hair.
Yeah, there's how many different types of hair are there?
There's
Yeah, 3
three types of hair.
types of hair. Under, guard, and viscerae. Do all mammals have a viscera hair? No. Can you give some examples of those that do?
Porcupine?
No.
No?
No. You could even think of a pet.
Or a cat.
Yeah, dogs, cats, any member of the feline family would have those types of structures. Okay, so this is what we talked about as far as camouflage is concerned. And then I think we talked about that yesterday. And here's your armor that you were talking about yesterday. That can be for protection. And then we move on to horns and antlers because they are two different distinctions. Excuse me. So even if you did not write this down, before we would have even started, would you know the difference between horns and antlers?
Yes.
Okay, and what might that be?
Antlers are thinner than the horns.
That's true. And anything else? Do they continually grow?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Both of them do. But yes, there's still a distinction between them.
And the antlers fall off and then they regrow back.
Antlers will fall off at the end of every breeding season. That is correct. Where horns just continually grow, and yes, they will not fall off of the animal.
I'm a hunter, you'd think I know that.
Okay. Can these structures be removed from members of the bovine family? Can you take horns off? Mm-hmm. Sure, you can take the horns off. I really don't. It's been so long since I've seen that process done. I think there is a little bit of bleeding, but I think it's probably just more of a shock to the animal than anything else. But regardless, okay, the horns continually grow, where antlers, like you had said, are shed at the end of every breeding season. Like I said, there might be some overlapping on those papers. I found two different files, and what I should have done, what I printed from today is what I should have used. This should be on the back of your first. Okay. Well,
Things I have is
glands, okay.
That's
Like, okay, so let's go ahead and start with that then. So then, when we look at this watery substance, when that evaporates, why is that important for these animals? Because it doesn't say specifically, well, I guess it does up here, okay? What would be the function of these to do for the animal?
It keeps their skin moist.
Well, that's maybe a secondary function, but not the primary one. Because what do we think of when we see this?
It keeps them cool.
Right. So once this watery substance that we're talking about is secreted on the skin, whether it's humans or whether it's mammals, it will evaporate, and upon doing so, will take heat with it. So therefore, it will cool the body. But not all sweat glands will have that function. Okay? So, for instance, an example of that might be when you walk into a classroom where I'm going to pick on junior high students. You certainly know that they were in that classroom before you. Why might that be? Because it's at that time, for humans, is the body going through many different changes? Yes, it is. Okay? So then when we look at this, because I'm speaking to the experiences that I have or have had in the past, because in a prior school district, I taught 7 through 12 science, okay, which meant the day started with life science with 7th graders, then earth science with 8th graders, and then human anatomy and physiology was after that. But the idea behind that is this, okay? This is a substance, it's still a sweat gland, but does not operate to cool the body. So in human terms, where might this be? Nope, it's not everywhere. Because one of the things maybe I left out was upperclassmen would walk in after, you could almost say 2 hours of junior high students. You have got, and this is students talking to me, you've got to tell those students to shower. Okay? So, or you've got to tell them to put deodorant on. Okay, that's right. These glands then, these apocrine glands, would be found in, for instance, areas that are not all over the body, but in mammals that are quadrupedal, for instance, like cats, you would maybe see these types of glands in what you call their armpits. Okay? So what would happen for you individuals? It's not intentional, but you come to school and, oh my gosh, I forgot to put deodorant on. Is that a problem? Okay, could be. So, could be. Because as your body core temperature rises, what happens if you secrete some sweat in your armpits? Might make them stink. That's right. Okay? So if and or when that happens, this is the glands that cause that. Okay? So find a middle school classroom and walk in right after that. Maybe now does that maybe think, yeah, I kind of remember that. Okay? And it's a phase that you people went through too. Oh, middle school. Good times, right? I see yes and I see no. Not a good time. Okay? All right. It's just more interesting in high school. I don't know. Because now you can count down the days of getting out of here, right? Okay. Very good. Let's see here. Where are we at for time? Up to 14 minutes. Of course, there is one more gland left, and it's probably eccrine, apocrine. Is it sebaceous glands, I think? Yeah. Is that what's next? Yes. Oh, yep. So, in human terms, do you think you might know where that is? It's in a specific spot. Face? True? Yep. Where else? Go a little higher. On the scalp. That's right. So, would it be fair to say that some mammals will secrete this onto their skin for a protective function? Because it really doesn't protect us. I mean, it's there, and it's more of a nuisance than a protective function. So, one thing to think about is, let's talk about a mixture. Does water mix grease? No, it does not. So a reason for this would be maybe an aquatic mammal that spends time in the water, also spends time on land. And what type of mammal? Yep, river otters. And I'm trying to think of like mink as well. Those that are found in water will secrete this on there, and it creates a barrier to keep their body warm. Because where is heat lost more, in the air or in the water? In the water. So if you have this protective function, you're not going to lose heat as much. Okay, where does that put us? Mammary. Okay. I think when we get to the end of this, that would be a good place to stop. So it would be fair to say, where do you find these types of glands, in males or females when it comes to cats? Females, of course. Okay, and these structures are found on male cats. Of course, it's a rudimentary form, which means the structure is there, but does not have the ability to do what? Correct. So it's the females that do that. Again, male felines would have these structures, but just don't produce milk. And it's a hormonal action that's inside the female's body that would create that. Okay, it's a good place to stop. We'll catch up to you or tune in next time. I forgot to say previously. I should have said that. All right, catch up to you next time.